Through the Desert by Henryk Sienkiewicz. Every like and comment is huge support for my channel. Chapter 24. The night passed quietly, for although there was a bank of clouds toward the south, the morning was clear. Following Staś's orders, Kali and Mia busied themselves after breakfast, gathering the fruit of the breadfruit tree, acacia pods, fresh leaves, grass and roots of all kinds of eatables for the elephant, and laid them down on the edge of the gorge. As Nell wanted very much to feed her new friend herself, Staś cut from a young, wide-branched melon tree a kind of pitchfork, so that she could more easily throw the provisions into the bottom of the ravine. The elephant had been trumpeting since early morning, for he was evidently hungry, and when he saw on the edge of the cliff the same little white creature who fed him the day before, he greeted her by making a joyful sound and immediately stretched out his trunk toward her. In the morning sunshine, the children thought he looked even taller than the day before. Although he was very thin, he seemed somewhat stronger now, and his tiny eyes looked almost merrily at Nell. She even insisted that his forelegs had grown stouter overnight, and she made such haste to throw the food down to him that Staś was obliged to restrain her, for she finally became greatly overheated, and he had to take her place. Both children were having a very good time, and they were especially amused at the queer faces the elephant made. At first the animal ate everything indiscriminately that fell at his feet, but when his hunger was somewhat appeased, he was more discriminating. When plants were given to him that he did not like, he pushed them away with his forefeet and tossed them in the air with his trunk, as though trying to say, "These delicacies I reserve for you up there to eat." Finally, after the beast had satisfied his hunger and quenched his thirst, he began to slap his huge ears with great satisfaction. "I am sure," said Nell, "that he would not hurt us now if we went down to him," and in order to make sure she called down to the elephant, "Elephant, dear elephant, you would not hurt us, would you?" And as the elephant moved his trunk, as if in answer, she turned triumphantly to Staś. "Look, he says yes!" "Perhaps so," replied Staś. "Elephants are very intelligent animals, and this one has evidently come to the conclusion that we are necessary for his welfare. Who can say whether he may not be a little grateful to us? It is better not to attempt it now, and certainly Saba would not dare do it, for he would be killed at once. Perhaps in time they may become friends." All further conversation about the beauty of the elephant was cut short by Kali, who, foreseeing that he would have to work hard every day to obtain food for the beast, approached Staś, smiled cheerfully, and said, "Great man kill elephant, and Kali eat him, instead of gathering grass and branches for him." But the great man's thoughts were miles away from killing the elephant, and as he had a very happy disposition, he replied while standing there, "You're a donkey." Unfortunately, he had forgotten the word for donkey in the Kiswahili language, so he used the English word donkey, and Kali, who did not understand any English, concluded that this name was applied to him as a compliment or a reward, for the children soon saw him turn toward Mia and heard him bragging as follows, "Mia has black skin and black head, and Kali is a donkey." Then he continued with pride, "The great man himself said that Kali was a donkey." Staś, after ordering them both to guard the young lady like the apple of their eye, and to call him at once should anything happen, grasped his rifle and started off toward the fallen rock that blocked up the gorge. When he reached the spot, he examined everything very carefully, inspected all the cracks, put a twig into a crevice which he discovered in the lower part of the rock, and measured its depth exactly. Then he slowly returned to the camping place, opened his cartridge case, and began to count the cartridges. Scarcely had he counted 300, when from out of a tall baobab tree nearby, about 500 feet from the tent, he heard Mia's voice crying, "Sir, sir!" Staś approached the big tree, the hollowed-out trunk of which resembled a tomb, and asked, "What do you want?" "There are many zebras to be seen not far from here, and further off antelopes also." "Good, I will take my gun and go after them, for we must have some meat to smoke. But why did you climb up in the tree, and what are you doing up there?" The girl answered in a sad, drawling voice, "Mia saw a nest of gray parrots and wanted to bring the young ones to the little lady, but the nest is empty, and so Mia will not get any glass beads for her neck. You will get some because you love the little lady." The young negress slid down hastily over the rugged tree bark, and with eyes beaming with joy, she called repeatedly, "Oh, yes, yes! Mia loves the little lady very much, and she also loves glass beads." Staś stroked her head kindly. Then he took the rifle, closed the cartridge case, and went in the direction where the zebras were grazing. After half an hour had elapsed, the crack of a shot sounded in the camping place, and at the end of an hour, the young hunter returned with the good news that not only zebras, but numerous herds of antelope and small groups of water bucks were feeding near the river. Then he ordered Kali to take a horse with him and get the animal which had been killed, while he himself carefully examined the huge trunk of the baobab tree and began to test the rugged bark with the end of his rifle. "What are you doing?" asked Nell. He answered, "Look, what a giant!" 15 people holding one another's hands could not encircle this tree, which perhaps dates back to the time of Pharaoh. But the lower part of the trunk is rotten and hollow. You see, this opening is large enough for anyone to pass through, for one could make a sort of large room in there, where we all could live together. That occurred to me when I saw Mia up in the branches, and while I was silently approaching the zebras, the plan continually recurred to me. "But we must hurry on to Abyssinia." "Yes, but we must rest also, and as I told you yesterday, I have decided to stay here a week or two. You would not want to leave your elephant, and on your account I am afraid of the rainy season, which has already begun, when you will surely get the fever. The weather is fine today, but you see that the clouds are gathering, and who knows if the rain will not come before evening. The tent is not sufficient shelter for you, and within this giant tree, provided it be not hollow to the very top, we shall be able to laugh at the worst downpour. It would be much safer for us within it than in the tent, for if we were to stuff this opening and the windows, which we would have to make for light, with thorns every evening, any number of lions could roar around the tree. The rainy season only lasts a month during the spring, and I am still of the opinion that we should wait until it is over. If we have to wait, we had better wait here in this giant tree than under a tent or anywhere else." As Nell always acquiesced in Staś's plans, she assented now, especially as she was delighted with the plan of remaining near the elephant and living in the tree. She began at once to think how she could arrange the rooms, how furnish them, and how they would then invite each other to 5 o'clocks and dinners. Finally, they both became merry, and Nell immediately wanted to take a look at the new house. But Staś, who had learned day by day from experience to be cautious, prevented her from proceeding in too great haste. "Before we take possession of the house," said he, "we must beg the present inhabitants, if there are any there, kindly to depart." After this, he ordered Mia to throw several lighted branches, which being green smoked profusely, into the interior of the tree. It was well he did so, for the giant tree was indeed inhabited, and by tenants whose hospitality could not be depended upon.
Remember to subscribe.